Oh yeah, this used to be Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm Jerry.
You're Jerry? I'm Sister Mary.
Sister Mary.
Yeah. Jerry, last name.
Sibling.
Sibling.
No relation to anybody up around these parts.
Okay. Well, that might be safe.
Forgive me, I should have stood up.
Nice to meet you, Jerry.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm over at...
I like the mirror rings. They're great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
They look like they come
They
from
came from the Southwest.
Yeah, I was going to say, they look like they come from the Indian Foundation there. My brain is not functioning right now, but I love that stuff. That is really nice, because we were in the South. We lived in Mexico for almost 5 years.
Oh.
Right in Cerrillos, the town.
Oh, that's great.
You know, they have their own turquoise mines.
Here it's stone.
Yep.
Now as soon as you say it, like, I know where that's from.
So, yeah, I don't know if many people come from it, That's
Thank
nice
you.
stuff.
So tell me what you do.
Wastewater. Directing utilities for the sewer.
So are you doing all this over Church Street?
No, that's water
Is
right
that
now.
Suez?
Yeah. EE routes, they're doing that for Suez. But I have them on schedule. They're slated to do a Main Street job to replace the sewer line. One next to that, 2 doors down from that church. That's right there, the Stone Church. That's the Episcopal Church, I think.
Well, the Stone Church, the Episcopal Church is on the corner of, is it Liberty Main?
You know why?
The one with the gorgeous gardens.
Yeah.
That's the Episcopal Church.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know all the side streets yet.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
You're learning them?
It's hard to
So
keep.
are you new here in the area?
Well, I've been here for working here for a year. I live in Halstead, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
so I commute every day. You know, that's why I'm kind of hoping that this will zip on through here, so that
We're hoping that too.
I'm praying.
I think the meeting the other day defrayed a lot of angst. So,
Have a blessed night.
thanks, you too.
Everybody can hear me. We're going to start the public hearing. So we'll start the public hearing for the rezoning of the Letty, Chester, and Saratini acreage. So we got a podium over here with a microphone, just get the big room. Just be careful with my cord. And then just state your name and who you are. And address. Yeah, just make a reasonable amount of time, minutes, just so we get through comments.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. My name is Mike Middleton, East Stillwater Lane, West Hampton Beach, New York. My wife and her two sisters are the owner of the 19 acres of the trustee for the tonight. So we're requesting to rezone this 19 acres from R2 to an R3. This rezoning will provide an opportunity for the village to make possible the addition of needed and desired housing units, as well as putting this property to productive use. This will benefit the village, the community, and the property owner as well. In order to address the high-density housing need noted in the village comprehensive plan, this 19-acre parcel is particularly suited for this purpose in that it's outside of the floodplain and has all of the necessary utility available at the site. There are very few properties, if any, in the village outside of the floodplain of sufficient size that can accomplish this objective. The attached R2 and R3 maps that have also been submitted by the county show that there's the scarcity of R3 properties outside of the floodplain. This is an opportunity for the village to accomplish an overall objective of its comprehensive plan by rezoning to the R3 and providing such housing. In support of this, the Cuyahoga County Economic Development and Planning Letter of September 24, the summary is attached in the packet there, recommending the approval of the rezoning, among other things, documents the need and the desire in the village for housing that will result from this R3 rezoning approval. We wish that the Cuyahoga County letter and documents be submitted in support of our rezoning application. If it has not been officially submitted for that purpose at this time, we would like to do so now. Mayor, have you officially accepted the report from the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission?
Yeah, we've received that report.
So that's part of the record, correct? All right. So you don't need to do a copy now?
No.
Okay. The use of this 19-acre parcel is in accordance with the R2 zoning. Could result in 65 lots, each with 2 dwelling units, for a total of 130 units. Okay. There's a draft preliminary plan included in the package showing a layout of anywhere from 120 to 130 units for the site if it did go to the R2. Alternatively, as the R3 parcel, as anticipated in this case, this would result in 20 duplex units for a total of 40 dwelling units. This would reduce the objections of those concerned with the more intense development impacts of an as-of-right R2 build-out. Okay. We feel that it is best for the village to grow in a direction that supports its residents now and in the future, and also that upholds the rights of all property owners for productive use of that property. Do you have any questions?
Anybody else? No?
No.
We're good. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else for the public hearing? Hold on.
My name is Cheryl Johnstone. I live on McMaster Street in Waco. I think most of the taxpayers are very concerned. They feel that the IDA, number one, is supposed to say there's a need, and we're building a facility similar right next door. We're building it. Had that not already happened, 90 units are going up. We're already constructing those units, and we have no need for a second building. We feel it will stress the taxpayers of this community. We will not have the people to live in that facility. It will also cause many problems with the tax base with the Waco School District, because we're already doing some 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom next door to the facility. So as far as the zoning goes, it's not about the zoning, it's about the need. Did the IDA submit a report saying we needed 200 units, or did they say we needed 90? Did they submit anything with this plan? Mr. Mayor?
There's a housing study that shows a need for that type of housing.
But we are putting it up. Agreed? The building is already being constructed. It's next door to the property that this man just listed. As taxpayers, we can't afford any more burden at this point. Is village water already there to the property? No. So again, the taxpayers are going to get the brunt of the burden of paying to put water over there. We've already done it at the apartment complex, virtually next door, where they're building 90 units. There's a need, we have fulfilled it already. We have no need for any further subsidized housing. We have no housing for seniors over 15,000, making over $15,000 a year. We have no housing for young college students making $25,000, $30,000 a year. The waiting list is very long at Bruce now since the building's full. We do need something done with the old units in the village, bringing them up to code, making them nicer, which I think the grant that we applied for may fulfill those needs. But we definitely don't need to have 2 duplicate buildings next door to each other and stress the taxpayers in the Waco School District. Thank you.
Mayor, may I respond to somewhat at the end?
This is a map of that development for everybody that hasn't seen it. And to see our past run, it's excellent.
My name is Sister Mary O'Brien. I'm Director of Tioga County Rural Ministry. I live at 81 McMaster Street in Owego. And I'd just like to say, I came to Owego 6 years ago. I looked for housing. I looked for affordable housing. I came from Tompkins County, where I was living in a really nice trailer. That was a 3-bedroom trailer. I was paying $500 some odd, $570. I came here looking for something around that range, and very quickly found that there was nothing in that area. So then I looked into the 600 figures, and again could find nothing. I looked at least 14 different residences, most of which were dives. And it was clear to me at that point, after looking at all these houses, that I was going to have to remain in Tompkins County and travel back and forth. I was right along Route 38. I could have done that easily, which I did do. I ended up doing for a full month. When I finally found something in the penny saver, and the rent was more than I could pay, I talked with the landlord. I thought, well, maybe if he sees me, maybe if we talk, maybe he would be interested in renting to me. He immediately did go down in the rent, and I was able to find something. I speak to that issue, my own personal issue, and then I'd like to speak to the issue of the people whom we serve at Tioga County Rural Ministry. Average rent, we pay a lot of first month's rent for people. And it ranges anywhere from 475 to 875 to over 1,000. The average, I would say, is roughly around $650. It's really, and I've been to many of these houses where we are paying first month's rent for people, $600, $700, and like my own experience, they are dimes. 2 weeks ago, we had someone come to talk to me about housing because she was living in an apartment here in town and was being electrocuted by she and her daughter, single parent, small child. Every time she touched the stove, the refrigerator, the bathtub, she was getting electrocuted. She talked to the landlord would do nothing. She ended up calling the Department of Social Services. They said, you've got to talk to code enforcement. So they got code enforcement to come. Code enforcement said, you've got to get out of there. She got out of there. She ended up paying $800 for another apartment in Owego that is not brand new, that is not terrific, but $800. She is works full-time in the village and has a good work history. She's able to pay that $800. I wish she didn't have to pay it because she could use it for other things. But that's an example of some of the need that we have based on me visiting a lot of people, me hearing a lot of stories, and my coworkers hearing similar stories. There is a need for affordable housing in Owego. Thank you.
Still waiting.
Sure, absolutely. Oh, these are sideways. Won't be too long. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the board. My name is Devon Gray. I've been a resident in Owego for over 20 years. I've traveled throughout the state for numerous job-related duties, and my family has been here for 4 generations. So we are vetted into this community, and we will be directly impacted by this. But this correspondence that I share this evening isn't about our personal experience entirely. It is about all the stakeholders involved. Not just the other side of the river, the South Side Drive, okay? The village of Owego, the town of Owego, okay? The county of Tioga. That's who should be in that audience tonight. These are all stakeholders. Everyone has a lot of experience, and from experience, we should learn lessons from. So I'm getting off of my soapbox. I'm going to get to the content of this message, which I usually stray from, because I am kind of mouthy, but I'm passionate about the subject because I understand the needs surveys that are done. I've concentrated my life on that. So I understand the red tape that we go through as a community, all the way down to individual and families. There's a systems theory that's so complicated that we couldn't even cover tonight in this board meeting. But I'm going to begin by bringing to the attention that many of us were caught off guard. You know, my family has long stories of damp cellars, and I remember my grandparents saying it was very sentimental to them, and what pride they took in their community. And we cherish that. Many of us do not dispute the seller's desire or right to sell. The concern is about serving a large number of residents with an array of needs in a confined area with limited community resources. These are facts. Again, to reiterate, the targeted body tonight on stage is not the developer or the seller right now. It is the board and our politicians involved in their duty to carefully review and make an informed decision. Again, I emphasize informed decision that has the community's best interest. By informed decision, this includes looking at all perspectives and conferring with outside professional Tioga County community stakeholders. Many of these reports, some people don't have the skill set. I'm sure there's lawyers and engineers on this committee, economic advisors. It takes a community to read some of these comprehensive plans and not just what's presented in one meeting. Again, there's probably been numerous meetings, I'm not aware. This, again, is not a targeted area of the south side of Owego. Keep in mind, I've said all the stakeholders. It's not about labels tonight. It's not about low income, all right? It's not about senior citizens. It's not about the disabled. It is about all of us. Some of the concerns that we have that we don't have answers for yet because we really haven't had time is this needs survey that you reference. We'd like to see this. I am interested in it because I'm looking forward to this matter. We have to consider health, legal, and economic perspectives that really need to be carefully reviewed and discussed. Residents will need health care and related services for many specialties that include psychiatric care. Individuals need currently, if there is a mental health issue, where are they going? They're traveling to Binghamton or Guthrie behavioral units. To get there, it's usually a trip via ambulance. Can our first responders handle this demand? We're already seeing a crunch, aren't we? With regards to transportation, you're going to place individuals up on a hill. It's a beautiful location. It is, overlooking the bridge. I've walked it, many of us have walked over, okay? Imagine that you're elderly, okay? Imagine that you're disabled. That's quite a hike. In addition to that, the safety involved. Sidewalks, none. If you're home before dark, you're lucky. If you need to get groceries and you can't afford vehicle for transportation, what are you going to do? A bicycle's a good idea, we tell people, with a basket, a laundry cart with wheels. Those are options, alternatives for people to get their belongings. We've been advised by the developer that Achieve will provide on-site transportation. They can't serve everyone that's there. When are we going to address the public transportation need? How are people going to get to their appointments? Yes, there's Medicaid for medical appointments, okay, during specific hours. But that's specifically that. How do you get to your pharmacy? We see people fail when they can't attain the services they need. DSS is on the far side of town. Noise. We've enjoyed the noise from Front Street, especially with the latest jazz. But you can also hear the dog bark, too. It will be reciprocated. Again, that's a minor thing that can be worked out. The lights is another thing. The traffic, which we indicated, is definitely a safety issue. Walking down Montrose Turnpike, I wouldn't recommend it. Environmental impact, I know the engineering company addressed drainage concerns. We've seen Kirk and what's happened at the other side of town and what hurdles that he's had to overcome and his neighbors. Lastly, the jobs in the area. What will people do? I'm often asked for that when I'm trying to help people find placements. Where will they be employed? What will their life look like to keep it as independent and respectful as possible? Many of us have not received and would like to review the community needs assessment that was done, as this investment will have a permanent impact on our community. We would like to review and discuss, as I recommended before, maybe an ad hoc committee. As we know, these studies can have various outcomes based on the design, methods, implementation, variables, and lastly, who funded the needs assessment. We also understand the town did a seeker, and I'm sorry, I'm relatively new to this term, but the village, we presume will do one, and we'd like to see that too, please. We often hear about follow the money. In this case, it would be in our best interest as an entire community to make sure we understand costs related to resources and various statewide funding practices that are not related to Section 8. Such areas include ISS grants, transition grants, SNAP benefits, SSDI, and of course, most recent issue that we've heard about in the media. It's paid to move programs. These are all excellent programs with a purpose to support and brighten individual futures. These resources come at the cost that impact the community. One identified program has evoked Druin County to seek legal action against New York City. We need to be sure all proposals are fair and that we can handle the costs associated with the needs those we share a home with. Keep in mind, if we currently have areas that need attention, then bringing a large number of others into our community without preparedness only compromises all stakeholders involved, including new residents to Owego and Tioga County community. We and they deserve the best. Based on so many questions, we owe it to our community and any future residents to ensure that we have support to serve everyone with the highest level of respect, regardless of their socioeconomic status. Labels do not matter. Renter, homeowner, student, disabled person, Republican, Independent, Democrat. We all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Therefore, until the community has had a fair time, which would be ideally even a month, to review and work together to develop a win-win plan, we request you, as a board, Mr. Mayor, table this subject matter. Allow us to see those reports that were submitted. Our minutes from the last meeting were not even posted as of 1 o'clock today. We want to gain the constituent trust and victory for our community. During this time, we would encourage each of you to thoroughly review the above plans and ask questions about this decision that will impact all of us, each and every one of us. Reaching out to our sister communities would be a benefit as well. Let's become a team. We all applaud progression and investment in our community. Sustainability and growth is contingent in making informed decisions before jumping in. Thank you. In anticipation, we would really thank you if you would table this till next month's agenda so that we could have a fair amount of time to review and to make sure that this is a successful transition. Many thanks to Rusty Fuller for gathering information to make an informed decision. Regardless of his perspective, didn't share that, he just collected information. He was one of the trustees we saw. This doesn't just, again, impact Southside Drive, this is going to impact everyone's future. This would be a great time to pull together just to make sure we've dotted every I and crossed every T and thought thoroughly before jumping in. I will share with you, again, with regards to a person of interest that maybe our mayor should reach out to would be Executive Jason Gardner. He could tell you about the PAVE program, okay, and what that does and what cost comes with it. These living environments will be beautiful. You're concerned about who will move in? Don't worry, we can build and we will find people to move in. We will. But economically, we have to make sure they have the support to be successful, because if they're not, they will quickly become a burden on our community. Funding, again, I'm staying away from Section 8. I'm talking there's funding to move from SSI. Talk to me. I mean, even for elderly people, we can find that funding. The Eli Johnson City Apartments, they're going for $600. On average, after we find funding for sources, people are very blessed that we can find living apartments there for $91. All the way down to one person's actually paying $31. But you know what they have that we don't have? Again, it's within a safe zone. They have sidewalks. They have public transportation, okay? They have doctors on site when they need them. If they need to go get groceries, they can just take a short little jog. Everything is there. Are we ready for that? And then as a landowner,